Hello, Abnormal Investigations. Welcome to another live Saturday night. We haven't been on Saturday nights in a while, so we got a few things we're going to announce before the show. I'm going to go ahead and bring Jesse on real quick.
Hello, good evening, everyone. How are you?
So what I told him, we're on a Saturday night. I think we just got a few announcements before we bring our guest on. I just, first of all, wanted to let everybody know that we've decided after popular vote that we will be back on Saturday nights. Will be our live. It's going to probably be probably 8:30 Central Time due to the days are going to get longer, and I don't want to be sitting out there with y'all for an hour or two waiting for it to get dark. Another thing is we're going to be recording another recording for the Patreon at the probably around the end of this month. And if you want to hear those videos, you'll have to be a member of the Patreon, because it's not because we're keeping the information back behind the paywall. It's because they would never allow us to release this information. We go really deep. We give our opinions. And I must say, our last video, I rewatched it, and we did go pretty deep on that, deeper than I thought we did.
Yeah.
But yeah, because there's no way I could put that out. No way. I was looking at it. I couldn't even edit it and put it out without getting the channel in trouble. But other than that, we're going to be on Saturday nights, guys, at 8:30, and we're looking at coming on Thursdays. We're thinking about giving you all 2 lives a week. So Saturdays and Thursdays is what we're looking at doing. And we're going to try to keep those at those days and times so you all will know when we're coming on. So if YouTube happens to unsubscribe you, which they're doing a lot right now, check your subscriptions, make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure your little bells run. You have all selected so you get our notifications when we put them out. Another little thing a lot of y'all did not know that you can do is when we do put a thumbnail out, you can click on that thumbnail before the show, and there's a notify me in there. You can click that also, and you can engage in chat underneath that thumbnail until the live happens. I always say, don't count on getting a notification. Just know we're going to be coming on, because notifications don't go out the way they're supposed to. And right. I think it's going to be easier when we just stay, we're going to be on Saturdays and Thursdays, and then eventually you guys are going to know when we're on. You'll have to excuse my allergies tonight. You all know we had a lot of wind, a lot of fires, so that's all we smell tonight is fires. So my allergies are really bothering me. I'll try to mute as much as I can. I'm wearing my headset, so it should be easier for me to mute while I cough and puke and gag and whatever else I need to do.
Well, hopefully you're not puking.
Not yet. All right, guys. I want to talk a little bit about our guest and a little bit about some of the things I want to ask y'all. The guest we have coming on tonight, her name is Latricia. And Latricia has pretty much been going through hell in her own home. Latricia's case was investigated by the Foreman brothers, and they listed it as one of the scariest cases they've done. Uh, Latricia has dealt with these things, not only dealing with the noises and the occasional knocks and stuff that most people go through. Latricia has been physically attacked and touched by these creatures, as I call demons. Um, it takes a lot of strength for somebody to come on a show and tell a story like this. She's a very strong woman to be able to do this. It takes a lot of strength, and I would like, everybody to please remain respectful in the chat. I know if you don't agree with her, I know that our people will be fine, but here lately we've been attacked by other channels that have tried to cause chaos in our chat. And as y'all know, we don't allow none of our guests to be attacked. This is a safe place, and it will remain a safe place as long as I do this. Our moderators are ready tonight to take action against such behavior. So again, as I said, I don't worry about our subscribers. We have the best subscribers out there. I know you all are open to anything, and we all share different opinions, different views, but there's the occasional troll, and we know we got a few of those in here tonight that will try to cause chaos, but we have the best moderators out there, so they will handle that up right quick for us tonight. This show is going to be placed on Spotify. For anybody that misses this, you'll be able to listen to it on Spotify after the show. Um, Tonight, we're going to go down a road that in the past, when we discussed it, caused me not only to be attacked by other channels, but it caused me to be attacked by other groups. Just a warning for tonight's show. This show may not be for everyone. This show was, I'm just going to straight out tell you, it was scary whenever I interviewed it. Me and Jesse interviewed her before we came on, and it is almost a heart stopper at points. And I just wanted to put a viewer discretion out there, adult only content. That way, I do not feel this would be suitable for any minors to listen to, or maybe even adults, because it was hard for me to do this interview. Another thing also I would like to say is Latricia, again, is a very strong person for doing this, and we want to welcome her open-heartedly, as this channel always does everybody. I think, the thing that's caused me to be attacked by the other groups is there is some witchcraft that happened in some of this, so we will be delving down that road a little bit. And of course, everybody knows my thoughts on that got me in trouble last time, but we have to speak truth. We're truthers, as the executor Jesse says. So we tell the truth, no matter if it hurts somebody's feelings and they cry on a live or whatever. We're going to tell the truth. We're not going to spread false narratives or anything that we know to be false. There's a difference if you don't know, but if you do know and you have factual evidence to back it up, then I don't think we should be sharing false narratives to people and spreading rumors, because it's only going to hurt the case and the people that are investigating it.
Right.
Do you have anything, Jesse, you would like to add before we bring Latricia on?
No, I think I'm pretty well ready to go. I'm good.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and for everybody or anyone that is wondering about Randy tonight, please keep him in your prayers. The wind has knocked his internet out from the storms that we had yesterday. So Randy is in our prayers. We love you, Randy. Wish you could be here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Latricia on, guys. And please welcome Latricia to the show. Oh, one last thing. If I don't throw your name up, it's because I am going to be focusing on the guests tonight, as not to be rude. If I do see something in the chat, I will throw it up as I can, but I do want to focus on the guest and getting her encounter out so that we can all learn from this. So at the end of the show, we'll again take all questions and everything, but I will do the best I can with 3 screens in front of me. And Jesse's also got stuff running in the background extra for me tonight. So we're going to see what we can do. And here is Latricia.
Hi.
Hello, Latricia. How you doing
I
tonight?
I'm doing better now.
Yeah, it's good. Very
Yeah,
good.
I've been I've been doing those prayers up and down, and it seems to be staying at bay. So
That's
I just
great.
want
at
to
least
say,
I'm getting
Latricia,
sleep
that
now.
I noticed something right off. I notice a glow
What's that?
about you. Um, I
Yeah.
notice you have a glow about you. I see the happiness that I didn't see during our interview, and God shines, His word shines, and I just wanted to say that I can see that immediately whenever I look at you tonight, compared from the interview. Do you see
Yeah.
that, Jesse? There is a whole
Yeah,
different air. I don't know. You could just see it.
I'm
It's
yeah,
amazing.
relaxed. My dogs are relaxed.
yeah. Definitely a difference.
I
Yeah.
love it.
I was like, the first night I did the prayer, I slept good, but the second night it was war. It was on. But
There's always
then I
always
did
chaos
it
before the
upstairs.
peace.
Yeah. When I did it upstairs, it really started to break. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep doing it before bedtime.
Yep.
So that's what I've been
Mm,
doing.
Yeah,
that is
that's good.
so good to hear. You've been through a
Mhm.
lot, Latricia. You've been through more than a lot of people
Yeah,
I've spoke to.
sure have.
Um, you know, I couldn't believe what you had been through, and the whenever it got physical, getting physical is always, you know, mm, that just, and we'll get into that, guys. Latricia has experienced paranormal activity in her home, including hearing walking sounds, the sounds of drums, and talking. She has also seen white mist and black shadows in her home. Latricia also has been physically hurt by the entity, resulting in some injuries we'll talk about later in the show. They're not real friendly things to have in your house. So, Latricia, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from and everything, so people can kind of get to know you a little bit.
Okay, I'm Latricia and I'm from Indiana. I was born in Indiana and raised in Oklahoma, but moved back up here after my grandparents passed away. And then I lost my parents in 2014 and 2018. So I just stayed here. And I live in a small town called Elwood, Indiana. They call it the heart of Indiana. We call it Hellwood, but that's where I'm at now.
So, none of this activity was bothering you in Oklahoma, is that right? You hadn't experienced anything in
No,
Oklahoma.
no. Only thing I ever experienced in Oklahoma was seeing a reptilian in the lake. That was about it.
That sounds about like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised what you would see down at these bottoms. So most of your, I guess, what would come to pass had kind of a beginning. It was kind of when you stayed at a friend's house. So I'll let you kind of explain to everybody about
Well,
being at your
actually,
friend's house, what happened.
it began like 4 weeks before I went to her house. My husband died May 17th of 2018. 2 days prior, I saw a black shadow, and uh, he passed away 2 days after that. Well, then when I went to my best friend's house and stayed with her, I had slept in her bedroom and she slept on the couch. And I hadn't even been there a week. And I was physically getting attacked where I couldn't even walk. It was that bad. And I kept hearing scratching noises and stuff coming from her closet. I kept telling her about it. She kept telling me there was nothing wrong. And I noticed a change in her being around her in the house where she never would go out. And she was always the type of person that was always out and about. But when I noticed that she always kept the house dark, never wanted to get outside, I knew there was something wrong. And then I started seeing her cat staring in the corners of the bedroom or the bathroom. And I come out of the bathroom and I told her, I said, there's something wrong with your cat. It's like staring for hours at the same corner in the bathroom. And she goes, oh, he just does that. Well, it was 2 days after that, I got attacked where it felt like it was pulling my spine out my rear end. And I told her, I said, Debbie, I've got to get out of this house. And I was waiting on this house to get ready because they hadn't finished painting it or anything yet. And I told her, I said, if I got to sleep in my car, I'm going. I've got to get out of this house. Something's physically attacking me. It makes me sick. I can't do this. Well, the final straw was I was so sick that it was making my kidneys bleed. And I was having other issues as well, but I got up out of that house. I slept in my car in the driveway here for like 2 or 3 days before it was done. And when I finally got in the house, the first night was great. And I say a couple of nights later, my sister came from Shelbyville and we were laying in my bedroom. And I said, do you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I hear drums. I said, I know, they sound like Indian drums. Well, I didn't think anything about it. And she had went home, I think the next day. And I was sitting here in the living room and my dogs all started barking at the hallway. And I watched a full form black shadow walk out of my hallway into my living room. And it just dissipated. And I was like, did I just see that? And I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'm seeing things. Well, later on, it happened again. And then all of a sudden, this white mist comes out of my bedroom, and I see all these orbs in my hallway running to my bedroom. And I'm like, okay, this is really strange. Well, it started getting so bad that my oldest chihuahua, I had Lily, she got so scared. Whatever she saw caused her to have a heart attack and she passed away. And I lost it and I was really down for a while. And then my sister came back down and stayed with me. She started seeing the orbs. Her dog was seeing the same things. She was seeing the shadows. She was hearing the drums. And then I was laying in bed and I kept feeling something touching my feet. And I was like, I know I'm not losing it because all my dogs are up at the head of the bed, the 2 that I had left. And I looked down and I didn't see anything. Well, someone had told me to pull out my camera on my phone and start making a video to see what I see. And as soon as I did, I saw this face of a man. And I was like, okay. Well, I knew that 3 people had already died in this house already. A man and 2 women. The man had a heart attack in my bedroom. The woman was his fiance. She died like 6 months after he did, complications from a surgery. And then the old lady that lived here right before I moved in, she had passed away. And these people were experiencing things. And I found out the other day that the woman, his fiance, always felt like something was crawling on her. And they would take her to the hospital, and the hospital said there was nothing on her. There was no bugs, no nothing. And everybody kept calling her nuts. Well, I get that feeling, or I get the feeling of walking through cobwebs in my hallway and in my kitchen. Well, finally, I had enough, I called the Foreman brothers. They came down and they did my house, and it was going off like crazy. They were seeing them. They caught a lot of stuff on film, and they left me with a stack full of prayers to bless my house. They were supposed to do it and didn't do it. And I called them and I told them I did it. But before I called them, the night I blessed the house, I had just got done blessing it, come in here and sat down, and my dogs were barking at the living room window behind me. So I pulled out my camera and I caught a full apparition of a man standing in my living room. And I'm like, I just blessed the house. What's going on? And that was the first time I'd seen the full apparition where you could literally see what he was wearing and see that he had a beard or a goatee and everything. And I'm like, okay. Well, I tried reaching out to them again. I got a text back from them saying there was nothing that they could do. They had talked to someone and said that I was an empath. So I chalked it up to that. Well, things just gradually kept getting worse. Well, my first dog that died, her little girl, just recently passed away in February. She saw something in the hallway, scared her to death. She dies. So here I am. I'm down to 2 dogs now. And little man, he never had a problem wrong with him. He's got congestive heart failure and something else wrong with his heart. He's sick and dying now. Sassy, 3-4 nights ago, when I told Jess that I had caught a man and a woman at the end of my bed when I said that prayer that night. They were touching me and everything, and I told them, I said, you don't have the right or the authority to touch me. And I was just at wit's end. I went out and slept in my car. I thought, I give up. And I said, I can't do this. I can't lose any more animals. Little man's so far gone, he's not going to come back from this. And that's going to leave me with Sassy. But I thought to myself, okay, I said the prayer downstairs. Maybe I should say it upstairs, because I was hearing the running and it was getting worse when I said the prayer downstairs. And I did that the next night. It stopped. And I'm like, wow. And I've slept in the house ever since. But I deal with that. But it had attacked me in my house right before Annie died, that I was in my living room and my girlfriend was sitting here and she watched it shove me down. I told everybody that I had fell by coming in and hitting the snow and my feet were wet, but that ain't what happened. I didn't want to tell anybody that shit was pushing me down in my house, because what are they going to think? I'm being attacked and I can't tell them that, it's something I can't see. And for the longest time, I didn't think it was ever going to stop. My grandkids have heard it. My family has seen and heard it. It's just never ending. But now I'm starting to get some peace and I'm feeling better. A lot better.
You look a lot better.
But
One of the questions I have is, when you said the prayer the second time, whenever it finally left, do you feel like you was more authoritative when you said at that time? You were tired of it being there. You had to sleep in your car, so you took authority over it when you said it. You were more firm.
Yeah, I was angry. I was real angry when I said it. But I told it, I said, I'm sending you back to the abyss. You have no authority in my house. And I started saying that prayer upstairs. And the running that I had heard, I've not heard it since.
Well, hopefully the only running it did was back to hell.
Yeah, me too. And in the back of my mind, I'm sitting here. Oh, don't tell me, it's the calm before the storm, because I just figure if I keep saying it and keep saying it over and over and over, that maybe it's going to give up. And I do it every night before I go to bed now.
Amen. Yeah, continue to do it.
Yep.
You'll have to continue to stand because they always seem to want to come back, but it can't now. You have took authority, and that's great. I want to take you back though to something and that really scared me when we interviewed. And if you want to, Latricia, anything that you do not want to talk about in this interview, to say, I don't want to talk about that, and we'll move right on. I don't want you to talk about anything you
Well,
don't
you can
want
talk
to.
about it.
Anything you feel comfortable with. I want you to be comfortable. That is the foremost thing I want. So,
Okay.
whenever you said you had your first encounter, whenever your husband had passed away, you had prayed and something had happened through the window. Could you walk the viewers through kind of what happened that time and everything?
Yeah, my husband was dying of lung cancer. And we had been arguing really heavy for like a week. And prior to that, I was hearing women's voices talking to me in my laundry room and stuff. And I didn't think nothing about it. I passed it off. And we had gotten in a fight that was so bad that I went into my bedroom. I closed the door and I told God, I said, please just take him now. If you're going to take him now. I can't deal with this arguing, this fighting, this angry side of him that I had never seen. And I had laid down on my bed and my closet door was ajar. And I just happened to look at my closet and I watched a black shadow man come out of my closet, wrap its arm around the closet wall, and look towards the window. And I looked at it and I said, no, not yet, because I had calmed down after talking to God. And I always kept my bedroom window open. Well, the next night, or no, that night I went to bed and I woke up the next morning hearing this dog barking, and it's not even issuing to me that my dogs are not even barking, and they're chihuahuas. They hear something, they're going to bark. And I kept hearing this loud dog outside my window, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to wake him up. I don't need him fighting and arguing with me today. And I look out the window, and there's no dog. So I get up, I walk out of my bedroom, and it's like 6:48, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I notice his bedroom door's open. And usually he kept it shut. And the light was on. So I decided I'm going to go in there and tell him, get up, let's have coffee. I went in there and I said, well, baby, if you want to get up and have coffee with me, I'm going to take the dogs out. I'll get the coffee started. So I took the dogs out after I got the coffee started, went outside. We were out there about 15, 20 minutes. I come in, I grab my cup of coffee. I sat on the couch for like 10 or 15 minutes and I realized he wasn't there or coming out of the room. And I thought, oh, it's going to be one of these days again. So I just go in there and I swing open the door and I said, look, we're going to fight today or we're going to have coffee. And I just happened to look at his eyes and my husband was dead. And I would have never imagined it. So I was buying that house, and it's right down the road from my son. I had to move out and move in with my best friend. But like I was saying with her, I didn't realize it at the time that her buddies that she was living with before she got her house, they were into witchcraft. And I guess she was attacked. And she didn't bother to tell me until after I moved into this house and I was attacked at her house by whatever entity that was at her house. And I think it followed me from her house. And she flat out said it was black magic, that the guy had sold his soul to the devil. And they had warned her. And I'm like, and you didn't bother to tell me. Well, now I can't even go to her house without it making me sick. Can't go over there. If I do, I'm outside of the house. I won't go in it. It just makes me sick to my stomach. And she's so far gone that she won't even come out of her house. And her old man doesn't even know what to do. It's not attacking him. She's lost 2 of her cats. She's down to 2. But those cats are starting to do the same thing her other cats were doing before they died, staring in the corner of that bathroom. And I was looking it up the other day that usually if you have something in a bathroom or a closet, it's a jinn. So I don't know.
Right.
And I'm like, it's just weird. But mine's happening in the attic and in my bedroom. But if it was attached to me and came here, that's the room I'm in most, is my bedroom. Or I'm up in the attic working on my fairy houses. But I don't know. I mean, since I moved out of her house, that pain that I was feeling like it was ripping my spine out of me had left. My kidneys are great now. I'm doing okay on that and everything. There's no more bleeding, but they said it was like I had been punched in the kidney 3 or 4 times, really hard. That's what my doctor said. He says, you have no problems with your kidney failure, but he said it was like someone punched you really hard in the stomach 3 or 4 times and just bruised my whole kidney. And I've had scratch marks down my back. I've had scratch marks on my arms. The latest one was when it pushed me here in the living room and broke my pelvic bone. That's where it really threw me for a loop. And I knew something had to be done, because if not, it was going to kill me, or I was going to go down fighting one way or another.
Right. You know, whenever I first spoke to you, you told me that, it had never stopped with the noises upstairs, and sometimes it sounded like little kids running up in, the second story. But one of the things that I noticed
Yeah.
also is whenever when we spoke, you said that it had not been physical with you in a while until we had spoke, and then it had come out and it had rubbed your thigh recently after we had spoke.
Yeah. I come out of the bathroom and I went to get dressed in my bedroom. And I had just dropped my towel, and it felt like something grabbed my hip and just started rubbing it. And I turned around and I said, you have no authority to touch me. And it stopped. I was like, wow, that really worked, because someone had told me to say that. And I was like, now it's never like in a sexual way tried to touch me like that. And I'm thinking to myself, that's just not right. But it did. It grabbed my hips like it was just rubbing them. And I'm like, no, you have no authority to touch me there. And then,
So do you think maybe you talking to me could have amped it up a little bit?
I think it could have, because I was reaching out for help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I thought. I want to take you back just a little bit to your friend's house. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you was at your friend's house, you had noticed a cat in the bathroom staring at the corner, and you had brought it up. And that's whenever you said it felt like something had tried to rip your spine out.
Yeah.
Also, you said that was one of the first places it had ever got physical with you was at your friend's house. And that
Yeah.
really
It had put
started
three.
really weird. That really got to me. And you said your
Yeah.
friend was involved with some people at another house that were involved in some really dark things, right?
Yeah. He had sold his soul to the devil, and he admitted it too. And matter of fact, he's not alive no more. She
Hmm.
doesn't know what happened to him, but he's not alive. Um, but she said that she had spent the night at his house. He had told her that he had uh, sold his soul to the devil, and that now his house was haunted. Well, she just blew him off like he was nuts. And she stayed in his bedroom, and she said as soon as she turned off the light, it was like something was on top of her. She was screaming, but nobody could hear her. And she said the only way that she could get it to stop was to start praying to God. And when she started doing that, it stopped. She said, I turned on the bedroom light. I ran out into the living room. She said they were laughing at her. And from that day on, she has been totally different. And I think it's attached to her, because anybody that tries to get near her, it's just, I don't know. Her daughter doesn't even like going in her house. And
Do
that's
you think
strange,
it's
because her and her daughter used to be close.
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's possible that your friend, instead of just staying at the house where they done the witchcraft, is it possible you think that she might have participated in the witchcraft?
I wouldn't doubt it, because back then I know she was doing drugs and stuff. Yeah.
And I believe that drugs and
And she just
alcohol is
ain't
a
telling the truth.
huge right. I believe drugs and alcohol is a huge open door for that to bring things in. It's
Yeah.
just an opening, it's an opening. And yeah, Geostar, the Foreman brothers had been to her house. They said it was one of the scariest investigations they had done. Another thing, um, whenever you was at your friend's house, did she ever get touched as much as you, or did it feel like it was more after you, or was it wanting you gone? You feel like it wanted her to itself?
Before that, she didn't like sleeping in her bedroom. So that's why I ended up in her bedroom when I came to stay with her. And she had never told me anything about her being hearing the noises and stuff. But after I started getting touched and stuff, and I told her that, I didn't want to stay there no more, that's when she started coming out saying that she had been touched and stuff. And that's why she was sleeping on the couch, which I thought was odd, because she had her own bedroom and she wanted to give it to me. I could have slept on the couch. But it was like she was getting mad at me because I wanted to sleep out on the other couch in the living room. but she kept pushing me towards the bedroom. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I'm hearing things in that closet. And it would literally sound like fingernails, like on a chalkboard, but in the closet. And you'd open up the closet door and there was nothing there. And I'm thinking to myself, and the strangest part about it was, too, I didn't even think to tell you this. When I was staying there, I know 3 or 4 times there was bats that would fly into her house. And she still has that problem with bats flying into her house.
That's really interesting. And
Yeah.
also, we had discovered on the interview, you had told me also that not only was your friend involved with people that were involved in witchcraft and possibly doing it herself, but the neighbor that you have also practices witchcraft, maybe.
Yes, my next door neighbor that I have right now, she is a witch. Straight up witch. But she calls herself a good witch. And I tried to tell her, I said, anybody that does spells is not a good witch.
Right.
Because that'll come back to you tenfold. I've already read up on that stuff. And she just found out. I talked to her yesterday outside that her cancer came back.
Mm.
And she had done a spell on her ex-husband. And I said, see, it comes back.
That stuff is a terrible, terrible disease. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. You know, that's not a good way to go.
Yeah.
Latricia, what I found interesting is your friend and yourself had a lot of trouble in your bedrooms, particularly the closets, and also it touching you sexually. It seems like the bedroom was kind of its domain. It's kind of like where it wanted to be. Would that be right to say?
Yeah.
That?
Yeah, because it started at her house in the bedroom. I had only been there 2 nights, and I had woke up at like 3 a.m. and I felt this burning sensation on my back. That's when I ran to her bathroom, which you have to go through the living room, the dining room, the kitchen to get to the bathroom. And that's when I saw her cat looking at the corner, like just sitting there, tilting its head back and forth like someone was talking to it. And I looked in the bathroom mirror and I had 3 long scratch marks down my back. And I'm thinking, what the hell? And I came out and I tried to wake her up and she wouldn't wake up for nothing. And then all of a sudden I started to take a walk and that's when I felt it. And I mean, the pain was so severe that it felt like something was trying to grab my spine. And it got like that, and it was like that way for almost 4 or 5 days. And the minute I left her house, it stopped. It stopped. And I was like, wow. So I knew there had to be something in her house.
So you took photographs and videos with the camera. Did that seem to amp it up, do you believe, when you would do that, or did it have any effect on it?
No, didn't have any effect on it. That's why the night when I blessed the house that night and I saw that full apparition standing in my living room right after I did their blessing that they told me to do, that did not work. That's when I caught that man standing in my living room and I'm like, who is that? Now they caught my husband, the woman that died in the house on the video. But I've always heard demons can take any form they want. They can tell you that I think it might be my husband, but it's probably a demon.
Yes, they can.
And,
yes.
But every time they would get near my bed, that sucker would go off like crazy. They had an EMF thing on top of my bed. And then the weirdest part about it was during the investigation, my room lit up like it was the 4th of July. And there was no lights on in this house. And it turned bright white, they said in there. But every time he would get next to my bed, that thing would go off. You would hear the hangers in my closet moving around. And then it was throwing things in the laundry room before I got all my craft stuff moved up to the attic, because it was so bad that I would go out sleep in my car when I first moved in here, when the stuff would start moving around. And then I was seeing that white mist and the black shadows and everything. And now, after saying the prayers, my hallway used to be dark, dark. And I don't know if you can see it now, but it's not that dark anymore. To me, it's light.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Nothing's
it's
nothing's sucking up the light.
Yeah.
no. And I don't feel that uneasiness of that hallway anymore. And when I slept in my bed last night, I was like a baby. I was like, oh, yes.
That's what we like to
But
hear. I want to kind of tell
yeah,
everybody in chat what you've done so other people will know. I spoke with Latricia.
okay.
She was telling me about all these attacks and everything. And I told Latricia, I said, use Psalms 91. It is a prayer of protection, and to stand on it. So that's what she's talking about when she says that she said the prayer. Another thing I did not know, and it intrigues me, is you said that whenever you used that prayer the first night, you had, I guess, spoke to Jesse, and you said that you saw two entities at the end of your bed. Could you explain them a little better and kind of what they look like and what they did and what happened?
It was a man and a woman. It looked like a woman to me. It could have been a man, but it looked like a woman sitting next to a man. And they kept grabbing my feet. And then it felt like, they'd take their finger down my foot. And I'd shove my feet back up. Well, then all of a sudden, Sassy, she always lays at the end of my bed in protection mode. She started standing up. She was barking and growling. And I said, I know, I got this, and I told him, I said, you have no authority in this bedroom anymore. Get out. And it stopped. But I was just so frustrated. I picked up my stuff the next night and slept out in my car. And I thought, no, I'm not going to let him win. And then I talked to you and told you, maybe I should do this upstairs too. Because right after that happened, you could hear the running just going across my room to the living room. And it was back and forth all night. And I was like, oh man, what have I done? Did I just piss it off? And I said, I don't want to be attacked. So I grabbed my babies and we grabbed the blankets and we went outside and slept in my car. And I thought that next day, I said, that's it. I'm going upstairs. I'm going to say that Psalms 91 up there. And I did it down in my bedroom. And I thought, let's see what happens tonight. Not one thing happened. I don't hear the running. I'm not hearing the drums. I don't feel like anything's touching me. And my dog slept all night. I was like, yes. So I think it's just the battle of just having to do it until I feel like it's free in here.
We're definitely in a spiritual war. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And
If
in the
Jesse
back of
doesn't
my
have,
mind last night, I was thinking the eclipse was going to make it worse. I was like, no.
we're not going to allow that. No, we're not going to allow that. Jesse, if you have any questions, you go ahead and ask your questions before I've got a whole line of questions to go into, everybody. So
Okay.
there's a lot more to come. But I'm going to let Jesse, she's been quiet, so I'm going to throw her under the bus.
Well, well, one of the things that, and I know, just to kind of clear up some of the confusion, was there something reportedly there prior to you moving into the home, or was the activity there completely after you've moved into the home?
The girl that's a witch next door, she said that she would see shadows in here. Now, the guy that passed away in my bedroom died of a heart attack. And his girlfriend, which I said she had diabetes, she had her legs amputated. When he passed away, she pretty much mourned herself to death, but she was the one that was feeling like things were crawling on her. She kept telling people that things were crawling on her and stuff, and she was feeling and seeing things, but they just chalked it up because I guess they both did drugs. But the girl next door said, because she's a nurse also,
Mm-hmm.
when the when the girl's nephew that lived here that she took care of while she was at the hospital, her nephew was here with him. He's the one that found him dead, and he was autistic and ran next doors to get her. She said when she came in that he had been dead for a while. And the boy didn't know it, but the boy lived upstairs. And I guess that was his bedroom. But Randy, who died in my bedroom, I know him and his old lady were into drugs. And I guess Randy was seeing stuff from what she said. But she was the one that was telling me that she could look through her kitchen window and she'd see a woman standing in my living or in my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, it's not you who's standing in your kitchen. I said, it should only be me. She goes, no, there's a woman standing in your kitchen. Was that all right? And that was like a week after I moved in here. And that's when I started hearing the woman's voice. Now, the prayer that I did do that he gave me did get rid of Randy and her because I don't see that black shadow in the hallway no more coming in and out of my living room. And you would hear her in my kitchen. You'd hear a woman. So I chalked it up to being her. But that doesn't happen anymore because she would bang the pots and pans and whatever. And I don't hear that anymore. But whatever was in my bedroom and my closet, which in the hallway, there's a door straight across from the hallway that leads into my closet from my bedroom and from the laundry room. There's 3 doors on that closet. And my bedroom looks right out into the hallway. I would literally close my bedroom door, which is one of those sliding screen doors. And I would close it. And all of a sudden you'd hear it rattling and it just go poof, straight open. And it did that to me the first night I did that prayer. It just went poof. I was like, hoo-hoo. So I got up, I closed that door again, and I stuck something in front of it where it couldn't move it. And I went to sleep. And that's when I texted you and told you, I said, that thing literally, it sounded like somebody was breaking in my house, coming through the windows. And I'm looking, my windows are closed. And about that time, I see that thing just, what I had holding that shut went flying and it just opened right up. And I was like, oh no. Mm-mm. And I sat up the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I knew if it was that powerful and it could swing something like that, I'm messing with something really mean. But even my living room feels brighter. I don't know what it is. And
Because
It
God
has a
is more
different look.
powerful. Yeah. And God is
yeah,
more powerful than them. So,
but I was doing
So
everything. I would get online and I would search for stuff just to tell me what to do, how to get rid of them.
mm,
And everybody'd say, well, you had to meditate, or you had to do this, or you had to do that. Nothing would work. And I'm thinking to myself, something's got to give. But I don't know if you can see it. But that crack was not in here when I moved in on my ceiling where I hear the running. That crack is from when I moved in and I started hearing that running going across my ceiling. And that crack is there now. But I had no crack in that ceiling when I moved in. And now there's a crack going straight across it.
and you said that whenever these things would bother you also, they would never leave the closet, the bedroom, or the hallway. You were never bothered really anywhere else. It's kind of like they stayed in that area.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah. They never messed with me out in the living room or in the laundry room. I'd hear voices in the kitchen banging with pots and pans and stuff. My bedroom, they would touch my feet, shake my bed. I'd see the orbs, the shadows on the wall. I keep a nightlight on in there. And you'd see the shadows across the wall. But the eeriest point of my house was that hallway. I'm telling you, it was like, I don't know. Because that's like where everything would happen was that hallway. And I'm just like, it was scary. Now I'm not scared of it.
there's no
There's
reason to
nothing there to
be.
be
Yeah.
afraid of now.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I want you to
I'm,
tell
I,
What are you going to say?
go ahead.
yeah. Oh, sorry. There's a little bit of a
I,
lag.
I was thinking
uh,
though that, oh, sorry. I was thinking too, that closet though still gives me a little. So I think tonight when I do the prayers, I'm going to open all 3 doors.
Yeah.
not give them anywhere to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Latricia, if you would you tell everyone about the incident to where you were walking and your friend actually saw the hand on your back, or what it looked like a hand whenever you were shoved down? That was the one that really got me also.
Yeah. Me and Janie had just come back in from the grocery store and I stepped in out of the hallway into my living room here. And as I stepped in, she was standing over here by the chair and she said it literally looked like somebody's hand hit my back, shoved me. And when it did, I could feel myself sliding across the floor. And I tried to grab a hold of my couch because it used to be over facing towards this way. And when I tried to grab the couch, it was like my feet come out from underneath of me, went up above my head. And when I came down on the floor, it felt like 2 anvils hitting the floor on top of me. And I was in shock when it happened because I felt the touch. I thought it was her at first, but she's standing over here on the other side of the room. And she looked at me and she says, I saw that. And I said, you saw what? She said, it looked like a hand just pushed your back and your shirt went in and you went down. And she said, I didn't have time to come across that room to get to you. And I didn't think, I thought when I fell, oh, I hope I didn't break my hip, because I landed right on my hip. And I stood up. I sat on the couch for a few minutes. I got up and I walked. It hurt, but I thought, well, if I'm walking, there's nothing broke. Well, I went in, I fixed my cup of coffee. I come in, I sat down on the couch. And the more I sat there, the more pain I was in. She says, come on, I'm taking you up to the hospital. I go to the hospital. They argued with me for like 3 or 4 days. There was nothing wrong with me. I decided to get a hold of my back surgeon, because they have a hip surgeon there too. And I told him what was going on. So he did a CAT scan. He come back and he said, you're right. He says, your pelvic bone's broke. I said, well, what do we do for this? He says, there's nothing you can do for it but walk. And I'm like, what? And he's like asking me what happened. And I said, well, I can tell you the truth or I can lie to you. And he's like, well, what happened to you? And I started to tell him, and I said, nah, he's not going to believe me. I better just tell him I fell coming in out of the snow. She's like, sis, you should have just told him. And I'm like, no, he's not going to believe me. He's going to think I'm nuts, and he's going to call my doctor and tell my doctor I need psychiatric help. And she's like, but I seen it. I said, do you think they're going to believe you? And she's like, well, yeah, you're right. Who's going to believe us? And I said, well, I just slipped on my floor. And he's like, okay. So he sent me home with pain medication. I try not to take it. I just get up and walk like he told me to. And, but that was the worst. And then the night I said the prayer, and it started touching my feet and grabbing me. I was like, oh no, we ain't going here. And when she's up underneath that blanket and she's barking and growling, I'm like, what's underneath there? So I grab my camera and I start taking pictures, and I come up out of there and I look at that camera and I'm like, no, I'm not seeing that. And I look again and I'm like, that's a man and a woman at the end of my bed. I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, everybody that I'm talking to usually say demons take the form of loved ones or whoever you're talking about. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let this go. I ain't going to talk about it no more. And I went out and slept in my car. And that next night, and I come in and I went upstairs and I swung open that attic door. I said, okay, it's on. I said, either you're going to hell or you're taking me with you, because one of the two, somebody's leaving this house. And I mean, I was mad and I was angry and I was saying it. And then I came down here and I swung open my bedroom door and I said it again. And I was like, something kind of feels different. And it was the first time I've ever left the upstairs open. Usually I keep it shut because it's one of the old attic doors that you push open. And I was like, okay. Well, I lay down in that bed and I'm thinking, is it going to start? Because I waited until, I think it was midnight when I said it. Because I know it usually, all the crap starts happening about 3 a.m. in the bedroom. So I just laid there and I must have dozed off because I woke up and I felt great. I didn't feel angry. I don't feel, usually I'd wake up and I'd be in an angry state because I wasn't getting much sleep or anything. And when I woke up, I felt great. My dogs were sleeping, and Sassy went from being at the end of the bed. She was up there laying with me and Little Man. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And usually Sassy won't stay out here in the living room very long. And now she's staying out here in the living room,
All
which
of
is
us that are
strange
heavy,
because she's never done that.
all of us that are heavy laden,
Yeah,
you know, we laid at his feet and he will give us rest.
yeah.
There was another thing that you had spoke about also, and I think this is a very important point to make as far as to what's going on in your home. In your home, there was a history of witchcraft, and we know witchcraft is
Mm-hmm.
dark, it's evil, it's of the devil. But on your walls, there were words on the walls and the ceiling, some covered up by paint, others not. Do you think that could be part of the
Yeah,
witchcraft that they had done?
yeah. I think it was painted over. And matter of fact, I bought new paint and everything. I'm gonna go strip it all off of there upstairs. I went and talked to my landlord. He told me that he'd buy the stripper and stuff, and I'm gonna strip all that paint off there. He said if I needed new wood, he'd give me new wood. He'd have it brought in, and he put it up there. And I'm like, great, because I want it out of there. Because in some spots it says the B word, die, that you can read. And then there was other things, and I told him I wanted to open up that wall to find out if there's anything laying up in there. And he said, that's fine, just screw the boards back up there, because those are all new boards right there. And I said, whatever it is, it's where the attic is, the side of the attic that I work on. That is not where you hear the running. Where the crack is in my living room is the side where you hear it running, and that's all blocked off. And it used to be one open space. And he said the reason why he had barred it off that way was because of this being a cement house. They had to run the registering above the living room. So he just closed that off. And I was like, okay. But he said at one time it was one whole room up there. And I'm wondering if the guy that lived here that was into the witchcraft that had passed away, if he hadn't put something in the floorboards up there. Because they say Ouija boards and stuff like that, they will leave in houses. Well, I hope there ain't
Very
one up there.
possible.
I'm going to find out.
Well, that's very possible. A home that I actually purchased had some evil stuff in the wall whenever we went to add on, and it was a little cedar box full of things it shouldn't have had in it, and we turned it over to the sheriffs, and they said to burn it, so we ended up burning it. But it was in the wall,
Right.
like you said, they do leave evil stuff in the walls, and your brother and his wife at the time lived in the home and experienced things, right?
Yeah, my baby brother who passed away recently, he passed away of colon cancer. Him and his wife had lived here with their two youngest girls, and she was pregnant at the time, and they got along great in this house. But the longer they lived here, they noticed that they were arguing and fighting, and it all just erupted one night and they got in a fight. And the next thing we know, they're divorced. And when they split up, she moved to Indianapolis. He moved to Alexandria. And he never had a problem after that once they left this house. But he said he even realized the complete change between the two of them, where they got along great. They were at each other's throats while they lived here. And I guess it was the same way with Randy and Deb, that before they met, they got along great until they moved into this house. But there, I know they did catch one man on recording. He said his name was George. I asked my landlord if there was any man by the name of George that lived here, and he said no. Because he went and looked in the file because he had everything, because he just paid out the property taxes. And he said there's nobody by the name of George that ever lived in this house.
Huh.
So I don't know who the George is.
That's interesting.
Little
That's
man, you
real.
gotta get off mom's pelvic.
Uh,
Yeah.
another thing, and this might, freak the viewers out just a little bit. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. In your home, or since it's defeated now and gone, previously in your home, there was a big no-no that you did not do, and you did not bring children to your home, correct?
Oh no. You don't bring children in here. That amps it up. My grandkids would come over, my grandsons, and I literally told my daughter-in-law, I said, the boys can't come back over here. I said, when they come over here, it amps it up, and I play hell for 3 or 4 days. I said, we can't do this. And I love my grandsons, and my daughter-in-law knows that. And I said, they can't come over here. I said, because I play. And I mean, it would be literally things be moving and the running would get worse upstairs and stuff. And I'm like, I've never seen anything like that, because my grandkids don't come in here and tear up my house. They don't do that stuff. But they did not want no part of kids in this house. None. Just like I'm guessing they didn't want they didn't want animals in here either.
Huh.
Because,
That is
like I said, my
so
dogs
strange.
were healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange. And you had a friend,
And
Latricia,
everybody that knows me, go ahead.
I was just going to say we have a little bit of lag between it, but you had a friend and you went to the store one day,
Oh.
and whenever you came home, she was having an argument with somebody or something, right?
Oh, yeah. My friend Janie, I come in, it was about a week and a half ago. I wanted chili and I was missing some ingredients. And I told her, I said, I'm going to run to the store and get what I need for this chili. And when you're in my living room, you can't hear anybody come in my back door because of it being cement walls. You just can't hear nothing. And I come in the back door, and usually my dogs are in the living room with her. They're at the back door and they're just shaking. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, babies? And they're just looking up at me, whining. And all of a sudden, I hear her in here cussing. So I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm listening. And she's telling these effing whatever, I mean, she's going off. She's using foul language. She's telling them she's going to kill them. Leave her alone. She's not going to do this. She's not going to do that. And I'm thinking to myself, who is she talking to? And now I can see why my dogs were scared. I come around that corner and I said, "Who are you talking to?" She just looks at me. And I said, "Who are you talking to like that?" I said, "You got my dog scared." She said, "Nobody." I said, "You were just screaming and yelling you were going to kill somebody." She says, "I wasn't talking to nobody." I said, "All right, Janie." I said, "My dogs aren't scared for no reason. And I just heard you arguing with somebody. And when I come through that hallway, you were standing up like you were fist punching somebody. Now, who are you punching?" But she swore up and down she wasn't arguing with nobody. I was like, okay. And I knew there was something in this house then. Because I never seen her do that. And she stayed here a bunch. But I've never seen her punching at midair at nothing that was there. And she was arguing and she was a cussing. And I mean, she was using words no nice lady would ever say. And it was scary. And I'm thinking, now this is a girl, mind you, she was into drugs at one time. And I got her to get help. And she's taking Suboxone. So I don't know if that did it. And they knew that she was on it. But she never did that before. But now she'll come over. Now she come over here on my birthday, which was the 13th of this month. And she cooked dinner, but she had me take her home. She wasn't going to spend the night. No, sorry. So whatever she was arguing with, it had to have scared her.
Something was arguing with her.
Yeah.
Wow. That is just that is so crazy. So since we've got through most of everything that you've told me and everything, unless Jesse, you have anything you want to add, I was going to move on to kind of a different part of the show.
No. I know there was a couple of questions. I'm not sure if they were answered. Let's see. One of the mods asked about what the house was built out of. Did you already address that? I'm not sure if I missed that one. Basically, was it repurposed wood?
It's cement block.
Uh-huh. And do you know what year the
I
house
don't
was?
know. It was built back in 1945.
Okay, that was the other question.
1945.
All right.
It used to have a fireplace in it, and they took it out. So
that's interesting.
But yeah.
So, how would you say Psalms 91 has affected your home and your life so far by praying it now everywhere inside of your home?
In a good way, because I'm telling you what, there'd be days I sat here and it would be in my mind like something telling me you need to kill yourself, or I mean, I'd be just so down and I'd be stuck in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me. I'm a person that's out doing something, working in my yard, you know. Now I feel great. But during the wintertime, it was getting bad. And when it pushed me and broke my pelvic bone, enough was enough. I was scared because I really thought it was going to take my life. I did.
Well, it has no claim to your life.
I couldn't come out and tell people.
Right. Well, your birth certificate is signed in the blood of Christ. He owns you. Nothing else owns you. So you're already spoken for. It has no say. I'm glad that things are better for you. Whenever I interviewed you, I could tell that you were battling a darkness. you could see the darkness around you. You could see, I guess, even on you, you didn't have what you have right now. You look totally different. Um, and I love
Yeah.
seeing that. I love seeing the work of our Father and Him showing that He is the King of Kings. Latricia, I've got just about everything that I had down really for you before I just do some closing
There
and
is
stuff.
one thing though, when I said that,
That's
when I went upstairs and said that prayer, I had on my shirt that says something about, you thought you had me before I fell to my knees, but I started praying
that's right.
and you ain't got it.
That's it. You
And
thought you defeated
I
me
was
when you saw
wearing
me
that
on my
shirt up
knees.
there.
And,
Yeah.
until you heard me say
And
amen, huh?
I was wearing that.
That is right.
That's right. But I do. I feel happy. My son even noticed the glow in me today.
Amen. That is
But
awesome. I love to
yeah,
see.
my babies are just so happy. They're just laying
Awesome.
here, chilled, not barking.
And that's the way that it should be,
Well,
Latricia.
I'm
And
glad you gave that to me because
I didn't do a thing for you. The
I
Lord
feel better.
Christ, he done it all. All I done was just gave you the tools. I had nothing to do with that. The glory's His.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that
Well,
I'm
you know
glad that
what's
you're
funny
happy.
is he gave me that stack. Well, he gave me a stack of prayers. It was like 5, 6 different prayers that he said you had to do throughout your house. Put salt down around it in every corner of your house and do all that and still have a ghost show up in my house that night. Something was wrong there.
You want me to tell you what was wrong?
And I'm like, what?
He was telling you to use
Go
pagan
for it.
practice and not the word of God, because the power is in the word.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of you. I really am. You're a very strong woman. You've come a long ways. You have defeated the evil in your home. That's your home. That is your place of sanctuary, your place of peace. That is your home for you and your family and your dogs and whoever you want to be there. And if you don't want it to be there, it can't be there, because Christ is the leader of your life. And all you got to do, if you want them gone, just say, Dad, boot them out, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's working. And another thing is, my plants would die in this house, and they're starting to thrive. I mean, they're going like crazy.
That's
That's just in
good.
2 days. I planted some new flowers, and they're already up this high. I'm like, wow. But before that, if I had plants, they just wilt and die.
Not no more, Latricia.
And in 2 days, my plants are starting to take off.
Amen.
So
And
that
you're going to
shows me
keep
right there.
and you're going to keep us updated and stuff, and send us some photos of your plants. I'll post them on my outdoor channel. I'd love to see those. I like plants and gardens and
Oh,
stuff.
I
So
will.
send,
I'm waiting on my brother to get over here and dig up my garden because I've got all my seedlings started. I'm ready.
we look
Uh,
forward. We look very forward to seeing
but
it.
we got
Latricia.
storms right now, so
Oh yeah, yeah. We want you to be safe in those. We had them yesterday. We had a lot of bad fires here in Oklahoma. A lot of wind. It was really bad. All we could smell was smoke. It's got my allergies all acted up and everything. But Latricia,
oh
I've
wow.
had you here for an hour and a half. I know
I
you're
remember
trying.
growing up in those sandstorms.
Oh yeah, and I know you're in pain because of you're healing right now. So what I want to do, Latricia, is I want to give you the floor. I want you to say whatever you want to say and tell everybody goodbye. Whatever you want to say, the floor is yours, Latricia.
The way I see it is if you got this stuff, be honest with people, let them know what you got because they're never going to know what you're facing until you tell them. I was scared to tell anybody. I reached out to the Foreman brothers and they pretty much just threw me under the bus. And I was angry for a long time about it. And I started watching this channel 4 years ago when I first when I first moved in here. And then I was off for a year or so dealing with my kidneys because of what I went through before I moved into this house. And they just got worse. But I had my surgeries and now I'm done. I'm doing great, but I faced it alone for a long time. And I decided I'm taking my life back. I'm not going to deal with this stuff anymore. And the stuff is real. It does happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault except for the people that cause it. And more each day, these ghost hunters and stuff out there opening up portals are just bringing in the demons. And I think that's what made it worse, was when I invited them in to do my house, they opened up something worse. And it got worse. And I'm just glad you helped me.
Well, the only thing
Hold
that I
on,
was
Boo.
able to do for you was just to show you where it was at. Again, I give all glory to God. I didn't do anything, but he who is in us is stronger than he who is in the world. So, I'm proud that you have found
Right.
peace. I'm proud that you've got rid of it. I'm glad you came on and shared your story. That's going to help a lot of people. You're a very strong woman. We're going to keep you in our prayers. We're going to stand with you that what was there cannot return in your home. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we plead the blood on your home and on you. And we stand with you that you are now protected and will continue to be protected, and your animals and your family. And you're going to have nothing but peace for many, many years and blessings. So, with that, Latricia, I'm going to let
Yes.
you run and I'm going to do the final wrap up of the show. Thank you so much for showing up, and God bless you.
Yeah. God bless
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.
Have a
Bye,
great night.
Deb.
Sure.
Bye.
You too, honey.
I just want to let everybody know that the Foreman brothers done a visit on her home and an investigation. It is not mine or the opinion of Abnormal Investigations if what they done was right or wrong. They have their own methods at what they do. I personally would have done it different, and I told her to do things differently, and it seems to be working. Um, what the Foreman brothers found in her house is they did on location experience the thumpings in her home. There was an alarm in her bedroom on her bed that continued to turn on. They heard walking upstairs, clothes in the hangers and hangers in the closet were moving upon their investigation. They asked for a noise, and there was a thump that was made. Items moved and fell. Walking on the steps were heard. A male voice was heard. Shadows were seen. They smelled smoke at one point and believed there was more than one entity in the home. A spirit box said Latricia's nickname, which it said Tish, was recorded during their investigation. But on my closing statement, guys, what I would like to say is they have no power over the word of Christ. Once it is said, they have to obey. And with that being said, before I do my final closing, I'm going to let you walk us out of this one, Jesse, and give your opinion on it and everything that you want to say. It was she's just an amazing lady. I look forward to catching up with her.
Yeah, she's Latricia is amazing and strong, and for her to have gone through this as long as she had, um, very strong will, and God bless her. I do want to just mention too to anybody that's watching, if you do have activity in your home, one of the things that you don't want to do is not just speaking about it and giving it place, but when you are recording or taking images or setting up things in particular to catch these things, such as video recordings or voice recordings, one of the number one things rules in all investigations is never investigate your home, because by doing that, not only are you giving it place in your home, but it knows that you are looking for it and you are there. I mean, that's your sanctuary. So kind of like you don't throw the garbage where you eat. You don't trying to be nice about that. But so that being said, anybody that does suspect activity, the best thing to do is to pray. Everybody in the home needs to strengthen and stand together firm in Christ's love and glory, and have faith in God that with Him this will pass. And that being said, am I walking everybody out tonight then?
Sure. Yep. I'm getting ready. As soon as you finish up, I'll give the
Okay.
last. I have a statement to give.
Okay. So with that, thank you everybody for being here again. Like always, we wouldn't be here if you weren't here to support us and the show and Mike. And so thank you. God bless all of you. You are all truly appreciated, and hope that everybody stays healthy and safe this rest of this weekend and the following week. And we will see you the next time. Good night.
What I done, guys, is I prepared a closing statement for this interview investigation that I done with Latricia, and I believe that familiar spirits are everywhere in the world, and we are walking amongst them every day. Dead people do not come back. That is what I believe, personally, in my opinion, based on scripture. And the scripture that I based that on is based on one of many, and one that really comes to resonate with me is Job 7:9-10. As a cloud vanishes and is gone, so one who goes down to the grave does not return. He will never come to his house again. His place will know him no more. And as Psalms 146:4 says, when their spirit departs them, they return to the ground on that very day. Their plans come to nothing. The dead know nothing. And that is what I base my faith on. And I know that familiar spirits will try to deceive us. They will try to trick us, and they will try to give them place. But we know the word of our Father as Christians. And if you're a Christian and you share that opinion, that they cannot, and we are not deceived and we are not tricked by them, that we are to test all spirits. And I believe that we must take authority over them in the name of Jesus and demand that they leave and not return. We must have faith, and we must stand on it, and we must not allow them to return. The power is not in us. We will never be good enough, and we will never be powerful enough for us to defeat the enemy. But through the love of our Father Jesus Christ that died on the cross at Calvary, He gave us the power through His blood to defeat all evil. And I believe you guys will be witnesses of that, not just in Latricia's story, but in my story and anybody else's that is fighting evil. Thank you, everyone, for showing up to Abnormal Investigations tonight. We could not do it without you guys. We are on the uptick. We are growing. We are strong. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate the audience tonight, the subs, for having such an open platform for everybody to be able to share their opinions, to be accepted here, because we are a safe place for everybody to be able to express their feelings, their beliefs, their opinions. I think that's important. And we will be on tomorrow night, guys, with another breakdown that you're not going to want to miss. A lady went out morel mushroom hunting, had a pretty big encounter, and we're going to break it down tomorrow night. Thank you again to each and every one of you guys. We love you guys. We couldn't do it without you. Phyllis, it was nice meeting you the other day in town when you walked up and said that you noticed who we all was. That was really cool. Hopefully we can maybe get you something, and I'll get with you. We'll get with each other. I'm sure you'll be back in one of the shows. As always, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.
Good night.